Hey guys, it's me, Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Reasonable Doubt, Season 3, Episode 4. So this week's episode was really good. A lot was revealed. In the beginning, we see Jax and Daniel go over to Ozzy's house and they ask the sister, Kristen, to come outside. And Jax asks her, did she know how Ozzie got the schmugs the night of Wendy's murder? And she was like, no, I don't know how he acquired them. He had been clean prior, but she does admit that in the past she was the one that copped for him. So she also says that the person that supplied him that night could have been his old dealer, this dude by the name of Byron, who he was cool with. So Jax is like, all right. And so as her and Daniel are leaving, Jax tells him that she feels like Kristen is lying about something, like she's not telling everything. And we know that this is a family filled with secrets. So we then see Bill once again sitting outside of his wife's home, his marital home. And he gets out the car with a bouquet of flowers. And she like, oh my God, can you stop popping up over here? She was like, Bill, like, what are you doing? Like, she is so tired of him popping up on her. And I finally got to look at her. That's the girl that plays Miss Pat's daughter on the Miss Pat show. I thought that was real dope that they made her his wife. Because, you know, typically they'll go for somebody a size 2, racially ambiguous. And I like that they picked a black woman with hips and curves and all of that. Shout out to the casting. So he gives her the bouquet of flowers and tells her happy anniversary. And she looking like, excuse you, sir, it was yesterday. These are not my favorite flowers. Like, what are we doing here? Because you don't know me, okay? It's obvious that you have no idea who I am and who you are married to. Now, mind you, he's supposed to be giving her space. They're separated. And he goes on to tell her how he's working on the Ozzie case and asks, can he drop the kids off early? Because, you know, he got work to do. And she was like, that's the reason why you're here. It's not because it was our anniversary. It's not because you want to give me my so-called favorite flowers. It's because you want to drop the kids off early, because in reality, your job, your career is who you're really married to. And I said that on last week's episode that I wondered if that was the reason why they separated, is because he'd put his career over his family. And come to find out, that was the reason why. And I was like, okay, so it all makes sense why she is constantly pushing him away and telling him, you know, you just can't pop up over here and get the kids when you want to, because, you know, expectations come in behind that. And if you're the type of father that, okay, I want to see them now, but then when they want to see you or when I need you, you're not there, then that's going to be an issue for not only me, but our children, you know? And so I was like, okay, so we're setting the groundwork to what Bill's storyline really is. Then we see Jax tell Daniel and her other, I think that's her secretary, whatever that lady, I forgot her name, that they need Byron to prove he was with Ozzie the night of Wendy's murder getting high. And so then they can pin the person that unalived her on like some drifter. And that's the reason how he was able to get Ozzie's pow pow and all of this. Bill is there as well. So Jax was like, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me leave the room real quick. So she comes back with one of the accountants and asks this white older woman, how does she feel about Ozzie? And she was like, well, I liked his show when he was little, but now I don't like him after seeing that video of him and Wendy outside arguing. So Jax was like, would you feel differently about him if you knew that he was abused when he was younger, sexually? How would you feel if you knew that he was an addict? And the lady was like, you know, I would feel really bad for him. You know, I would want to pray for him. So the perception completely changes once she knows all of these horrific things that happened to him, and now would look at him differently, which would help Jax's case tremendously with the jurors. And so now it's like, okay, we need to tell the public what happened to him to get sympathy on our side. So after that, we see Jax and Lewis at the crib, honey. She didn't put on her sexy lingerie. Body was tea. Okay. Love the black lingerie. And she is all dressed up and ready to get, okay, when Lewis gets home, she already got her rose or something out playing with the cootie cat. They have smacks, and as they're laying up afterwards talking, they hear the door and Naima is home. So they hurry up and put on some clothes or whatever, and they go outside and they was like, you happy your brother coming home today? And baby Naima slammed that door in their face, and Jack said, what the fuck? Like, slamming doors in my house. And so when she tried to unlock the door, she realized that the door is locked. And so they bamming on the door and was like, Naima, every minute that you don't unlock this door is another day you gonna be on punishment. So she like 1, 2, 3. And so Naima finally opened the door, and they was like, girl, what is your problem? Like, who do you think you are slamming doors and disrespecting us? And so Naima was like, what's y'all problem for not telling me that my daddy got my best friend's mama pregnant? And she holds up the onesie. So they like, yeah, y'all got caught, dummies. So then right after that, we see them all sitting at the dinner table. Their son is home, and it's hella awkward. And they try to explain the situation on why they didn't tell them about the little boy or whatever, and how, it was one thing after another and it got away from them and da 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 da. So the son is just kind of like, same shit, different day. I ain't got to deal with this shit. I'm going back to school. Naima is, of course, pissed off because she asked her daddy and he lied to her face. So Jax is like, is there anything you want to ask us? And Naima was like, why do you both like to ruin things? It's like this family is never good enough for you two. And she gets up from the table and goes back into her room. And that was very poignant for the writers to have her ask that, because Lewis and Jax are people that like to sabotage things. I think that they're so used to chaos in this relationship and functioning off of chaos. They don't know how to just be normal. And so I love that Naima posed that question, and they didn't even really have a response because they both so mentally effed up in the head. So Jax and Bill are at Ozzie's house, and they ask him to tell, the world about his schmooze, and tells him about, they ask him to tell the world about the schmooze, and he's unsure about whether or not to do this. Like, it's embarrassing, he don't want, people knowing this about him. So Jax asks Bill to give her the room. So he leaves out, and she basically, in a roundabout way, lets Ozzie know that she too was a schmooze, and that she refused to let that person have power over her. And the longer that you keep it a secret, the longer you allow this person to rule your life. So Ozzie was like, no, Jax says, does this person still have power over you? And Ozzie was like, does it really matter or whatever? And Jax was like, look, please listen to what I'm saying to you. So he was like, look, I'll do it, especially if it's going to help my case or whatever. And I'm tired of holding on to this. So Jax was like, but before we reveal this in court, because that's the way we're going to reveal, we're not going to do a cheesy interview or anything like that. We're going to reveal it in court so people can know that this is not, a publicity stunt or anything like that. I think that you need to tell your family, your parents or whatever. So he was like, oh, shit, because they don't know, right? So Jax and her girlfriends go out to dinner and drinks or whatever. They're having a good time, but Autumn doesn't drink her alcohol because she is pregnant. So they are so excited for her. They're so happy. And at one point during the dinner, her and Chanel get up to go to the bathroom. So that leaves Jax with Sally. Sally, old, ignorant, miserable, funky attitude having ass. I like that bob though on her. So when it's just the two of them at the table, Sally tells Jax that she back effing her husband, Chris, despite them going through this divorce. And Jax is like, girl, what is you doing? Like, that is not a smart idea. Like, no, Bernie. And Sally immediately got an attitude and was like, why? Like, you have always been a hater. You're a hater. You're a He-Man woman hater. You've been a hater since we was in high school because you the only person that wants to be happy. Now that you and Lewis got y'all shit together, you the only one that want to be happy. And Jax was like, girl, that ain't true. And if I'm a hater, bitch, you a hoe and been a hoe. So as they're about to get into it, the girls come back to the table and they did it right then and there. But they both side-eyeing each other. Sally get on my nerves. She really get on my nerves. Her and her little funky ass attitude really works me, especially after last season with the Chanel shit. She gets on my goddamn nerves. Now, I can see why Jax was telling her, like, maybe that's not a good idea, considering the fact that they're going through a divorce. And I think that Jax is thinking, y'all not gonna get back together like me and Lewis. Because you done fucked up y'all finances, y'all house, and everything else. Like, I don't know. I think she was just trying to look out for her homegirl. But at the same time, you really can't talk Jax because look at you and Lewis situation. Like, you the type that just need to be like, girl, I hope it work out for you. You know what I'm saying? So I saw where both sides were coming from. So then back at the crib, Jax tell Lewis when they're preparing for bed and he's up doing a work that ain't his. It's the dude Sam's that he just hired who lied and said that he knew how to do this form of programming or whatever that he didn't even know how to technically do. And Lewis was kind enough to tell him, look, you need to learn how to do this ASAP. And while you're doing it, you're not going to get paid because you done lied to me about already knowing how to do this type of coding and you actually didn't. And then he tried to hit him with the black man, da-da-da-da-da. So Lewis felt sorry for the young dude or whatever. But Jax was like, look, you already proved yourself. You did what you needed to do. There's no reason why you should be up at 11 o'clock at night doing somebody else's work. So he was like, damn, like, you right. And she was like, yeah, So they get to talking about her daddy and the situation with them and everything. And Lewis was like, look, I don't think that he should meet the kids until he's proven that he has changed and that you feel comfortable with him. And so she was like, yeah, I agree. All right. So Ozzie asks Jax to stay as his parents arrive. And he tells them what happened to him when he was younger. So he tells them that he was actually schmoozed by somebody. They are, of course, like distraught by this. They didn't know. The mama started crying and they was like, well, who was it? And he was like, I don't want to say. Only thing he revealed was that it happened once. It started when he was one day with his cousins or whatever. So the daddy was like, no, you gonna tell us. And Jax was like, look, I think that it's a big deal that he even felt comfortable enough finally to tell y'all that this happened to him. Let him tell y'all on his own time. And so as the conversation furthers, Ozzie slips and says that it was a woman that did this to them. And they was like, she? And he was like, God damn it, I talk too much or whatever. So his parents apologized to him for not knowing, for not being able to protect him. And he was like, it's not y'all fault or whatever. I just honestly thought that you all wouldn't believe me, which is what happens with most kids. They think that their parents are not going to believe them or shame them. You even got some sick, twisted parents that'll blame them for it happening. Like, it's so many different ways that this can go, so it was refreshing to see his mama and daddy actually be there for him and support him and not make everything about them in this moment. So Mama Louie is at the crib watching or spending time with Naima and they son or whatever. I can't remember his name. So they over there and Naima and Mama Louie is trying to make TikToks, but Mama Louie can't get the dance steps right and it's a knock on the door. So Mama Louie goes to the door and lo and behold, it's Eddie. And she like, what are you doing here? And he was like, you said that you was going to be over here with the kids. And, I wanted to see them. And she was like, look, I told you that I would let you know when, it was the appropriate times. But the kids is like, who is that? And he was like, hi. He walk in. He was like, I'm your granddaddy, I'm Jack's daddy or whatever. And at first they was like, oh, so you the nigga that ran out on my mama and didn't ever take care of her. Oh, okay. We clocks the T. We know who you are. And he was like, yeah, I wasn't there or whatever. He doesn't downplay it. And he was like, what's this? And Naeem was like, I was doing TikTok. So he ended up doing a little TikTok move with her and he get it down better than Mama Louie. So they laughing or whatever. And he was like, when your mama and them coming home? And Naeem was like, well, I don't know. And we don't care. And he was like, what's that about? And the son was like, you wouldn't understand. And he pulled out money and was like, let's see if I wouldn't understand. So he bribes them into telling him the tea and what's going on. And see, I got mixed emotions about the daddy because A, you're not respecting Jack's wishes with y'all working on y'all relationship and you trying to push your way back in, which is not right. It's not okay, especially when you ain't been around in years, my nigga. And then the fact that you weren't really there for her growing up anyway. Then it's also giving me he's using and manipulating Mama Louie because he know he can play on her emotions because he knows low key she still care about him. And I still think that it's something going on between them two. I still think that they might be messing around on the low, right? And I didn't like when he first came into the house and was talking to the kids. He was like, what, y'all can't speak? Who the fuck is you talking to, sir? You ain't who? We don't even know you, crackhead. Like, excuse you? And then I didn't like the fact that he bribed them into talking to him about what's going on with, you know, their mama and Lewis. And I also didn't like the fact that he was sneaking behind Jack's back and stuff. Like, he just moving foul. He's moving foul, and I don't like it because he's making everything about him and what he wants and not respecting their boundaries, which is not okay. So Lewis at the job confronts Adam. Not Adam. Is that his name? Adam or Sam? No, his name's Sam. About not telling him about his non-compete clause because the head honcho boss is in the room with Lewis. So the dude come in and he was like, I thought that the time was up. I thought it was over, lying his ass off. And so they was like, look, we're gonna have to let you go. And he was like, well, will I still have to complete the additional training without pay? And the big boss was like, what you talking about? He was like, well, Lewis told me that I would have to do this training without pay and da-da-da-da-da, making it look like Lewis is being incompetent, right? And so Lewis was like, look, that is not how it went down. So the dude was like, go ahead and go back to work. And so he leave out the office. And the white man, the owner of the company was like, look, we love you around here, but it's obvious that you're not good being in like a leadership role. And, you know, this don't look good or whatever. So now Lewis then been fucked over by this little Sam nigga who done conned his way into this job and using the whole black card for sympathy. And I was like, you know what, you little fuck ass nigga. And this is why you can't be nice to niggas. This is why you can't talk to niggas after 5 o'clock. I was like, no, he didn't try to play this man. And then fucked him over in the end. I was like, God damn. So then Jax comes home after work and Mama Louie is sitting there waiting on her to get there. The kids in their room and they sit down and they talk. And Jax was like, I know the kids told you about the Tony situation. And the mama is like paranoid because she know that she done fucked up by letting Eddie come over there without her permission. So Mama Louie was like, yeah, I know it, whatever. And she was like, you know, y'all will work it out, da-da-da-da. So she was like, have you talked to your father? And she was like, yeah, he been calling me, but I ain't called him back or whatever. And Jax was like, you know, Lewis wants to wait to introduce him to the kids until we know that he's changed and we know that he's stable. And she also says to her mother, I don't want him using you to get to me. And that ticks Mama Louie off. And she was like, he's not using me, Jax. And she was like, I ain't mean it like that. Calm down, bitch. And Mama Louie was like, you ain't the only one that can handle Eddie. I know how to handle Eddie too. But it triggered her and it hit a nerve because you can't handle him and he is using you to get to Jax. And her even saying that lets her know that, yeah, damn, he is playing me. And my daughter don't even really know how bad it is already, you know? And she leave out with a little funky ass attitude. Let me tell you something. Pauletta Washington played the fuck out that damn mama role because I can't stand her. I cannot stand Mama Louie. Her ass get on my motherfucking nerves. Like I said, I really think that her and Eddie are back fucking around and he playing her like a goddamn fiddle and she's falling for it. And I think that she's also keeping other things from Jax as well. So Daniel and Kristen are at Ozzy's house sitting on the couch watching videos on the phone and they getting closer, right? Like she snuggled up all next to him. And as they're talking, she asked him, did they find Byron? And he was like, yeah, but he said he rarely ever got high with Ozzie. And so Kristen says that, you know, growing up, Ozzie was always a loner. That's why he used to have a journal. And Daniel was like, oh, really? When was this? Now, Ozzie is listening, ear hustling, and interrupts the conversation. Was like, yeah, Daniel, I don't need no babysitter. I think it's time for you to go home. And he was like, yeah, I need to call Jax. He was like, no, I'll talk to Jax. And Daniel was like, okay, see y'all later. And he leaves, right? And when he walks out, Ozzie says to Kristen, I can't have you effing up my ish because you bored with him like you always, because you got bored with him like you always do. Now, who is him is the question, because he wasn't talking about Daniel. He said, I can't have you effing up my ish because you got bored with him like you always do. Who is him? And I think that's a part of the missing piece of the puzzle that we're trying to figure out and why Jax said that she felt like Kristen was lying about something. Something is going on there. I don't know what, and I don't know who is him. But maybe it's Alex. I don't know, but it's some shit going on. So then they look at-home doctor come out and Kristen was like, you know, how is he? And he was like, you know, I suggest he smoke weed to curb his, you know, cravings for the crack and for anxiety. So that doctor is an enabler. Something is going on with that doctor. It's weird. It's very, very weird. I don't trust the doctor either, right? And once again, I feel like Ozzie is still playing a game. I still feel like he's playing a character of sorts. I don't trust majority of the stuff that come out of his mouth. So Daniel tells Kristen while Jackson is at court that he left an important notebook at the crib that he needs for Ozzie's case and that he's going to get his ass handed to him if he don't find it. So she was like, well, I'm already out in the valley. I'm going to be gone for about an hour. Ozzie leaves a spare key under one of the bushes. You can go in and try to look for it. So he was like, I bet. But he's actually over there because he knew that she was gone and he knew that Ozzie wasn't going to be there and that the house would be free. So he goes in there snooping around trying to find Ozzie's journals and he finds them and steals them and takes them with him. And I was like, good going, Daniel. Good going. So then Lewis tells Sam that he messed up on some program, some file or whatever. And he was like, look, if you do it again, I'm gonna have to write you up. And dude was like, oh, it's like that. He was like, most definitely it's like that, little bitch, punk, pussy ass nigga. Like, who the fuck you think you playing with, ho? Like, nah, you thought you was gonna get over on me, dog? Nah, it ain't gonna work like that. And I was like, okay, Lewis, I see you, boo-boo. Okay.
Shazam.
All right. So then that night at the crib, the kids is really being nice to Jax and Lewis to their surprise. They talking about how good the food is and this, that, the third. And they kind of looking at them like, what's wrong with y'all? And so they was like, you know, why you ain't tell us about our granddaddy? You know, he came over here the other day when Mama Louie was here and he helped us understand the Tony situation when he stopped by. And they was like, So Jax and Lewis go in the room and he was like, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I thought we agreed that he wasn't going to meet them until we felt like he was stable enough. And Jackson was like, look, they ain't giving us their ass kiss right now, which is great. They not mad at us no more. How about we just take this as a win? And he was like, but this is coming from the same person who just a minute ago didn't even want this man around you or your kids. Like, boundaries, ma'am. And she was like, look, let's just take this as a good thing and keep it pushing, basically. Like, she's falling for Eddie's spell as well. And Lewis does not like this because he's on the outside looking in. And I feel like he feels like this man is hypnotizing everybody and he sees that he's playing them and that they're going to get hurt in the end. So, Bill drops the kids off at his wife's house and he helped with their school projects, got their homework done, took them to go play and called the doctors and everything else, and even brought over his wife's favorite food so she wouldn't have to worry about dinner that night. And she was like, okay, Bill, how you doing? Like, he was like, I might not have knew your favorite flowers, but I do know you like them oxtails, big girl. And so she was like, okay, so like he is paying attention, like he is stepping up. And it made her kind of look at him a little different. But he ain't even, get all into that. He was like, all right, you have a good night. He just left it at that. Like, he ain't even try to ask for nothing more. And I was like, okay, Bill, we see you. We see you. You might get your family back after all, okay? So then at the end of the episode, Lewis pops up on Eddie at the venue where he's playing with his band. And they all outside smoking cigarettes, shooting shit, right? So he was like, Eddie, let me holler at you real quick. And he was like, look, I'm going to need for you to get gone. And I'm looking at Lewis like, girl, ain't nobody scared of you and them fake dreads in your hair. Like, boy, bye. So Eddie get up and he was like, you know what? I almost had respect for you. But then you had to drag your virtuous ass over here like hell on a holiday, acting like you better than me. At least I took my it show on the road. But you stuffing your dirty drawers up in the house, shitting where you sleep. And Lewis say, at least I was done. Stepping up, being a father, husband, a man. Well, I don't think a real man will let my daughter get bent over and kidnapped by some felon and then get some bitch from the PTA pregnant. You talking to my kids about my business in my house? Your house? The one my daughter pays the mortgage on? And you come in here acting like the HNIC and nigga, you can't even claim head of household on your own motherfucking taxes? I swear to God. Ooh, you lucky you Jack's father, or I would have your old ass laid out on the fucking ground. But I am her father, nigga. And that's why we both know you ain't gonna do shit but shut the fuck up and go play on them little video games. So bye, nigga. Yo, Eddie read Lewis ass for filth. And he ate him up. He ate his ass up. And it's like, I understood what Lewis was trying to stand on business with dude because he's peep game. He see what he's doing, right? But at the same token, you judging this man like you ain't got skeletons in your closet either. Now, you can take this one or two ways. Like, Eddie is stepping to him on some like, nigga, you ain't no better than me. Like, so let's stop acting like you're some mortar. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not about to do that. We on the same level, playboy. I just used drugs. You didn't. Just because you're a present parent in the house don't mean that you're a quote unquote good parent. That's a word. And or you could take it as he's using the kids to get intel on Lewis to use it against him to push him out so he can get closer to his daughter. So you can play that one or two ways. But he was speaking facts. Baby, when he hit him with that, the house my daughter owned, You can't even claim head of household on your taxes. Yo, I screamed. Screamed. I thought he made good money. Well, obviously she make more money than him, but like, damn, baby. Eddie tore Lewis a new one. He couldn't do shit but walk away. I felt bad for him. But I do feel like Eddie is going to, of course, end up hurting Jax and the kids in the end. Most definitely. Most definitely. He probably is going to end up still using. Maybe that is him on the floor. That when she finds that person laying on the floor in the bedroom, maybe it is him. I think that it could be him or Naima now at this point. I still think something major is going to happen with Naima. I don't know. But maybe that could be her daddy that's on the floor laid out. Maybe he did, or maybe he's back using schmugs. I don't know. So Daniel calls Jax and tells her that he found something in one of Ozzie's journals about how Wendy betrayed him. And he didn't know what to do but let Monica come over that night. But he was finally able to tell her no for the first time since he was 13 years old. So he does have an alibi now. We know that the night Wendy was unalived, he was with Monica at some point. Don't know if it was all night because he said that he told her no that night, right? So now we need to find out if Monica was the one that supplied him with schmugs that night or what. But he do got an alibi. And now that Jax has this bit of information that she is his schmoozer, I'm wondering, are they going to use that in court to help him? But it's like, can they put his schmoozer on the stand? That's gonna be a doozy, okay? So y'all was right on saying that y'all thought that Monica was a schmoozer. I didn't really put that much thought into it, but shout out to the T Squad. Y'all was right. Everybody that said it in the comment section that y'all thought that Monica was the schmoozer. So shout out to y'all, okay? So present day, we see Ozzie at the crib smoking out of a bong or whatever, which I just think that those things remind me of crack pipes. I don't understand how people do it. But anyway, so he at the crib getting high and Monica comes over and he was like, I miss Wendy. And she was like, yeah, you know, I'm sorry that happened or whatever. And she liked the bong for him, which could signify that, yeah, she was the person that supplied him with schmugs that night. She then tried to put her hands down his pants and she unzips her top and walks out the room butt naked and says, it's time for bed. And you see him looking like, I ain't gonna be able to say no tonight. And the episode goes off. Child. Another great episode. So at this point, now we know that Monica was his schmoozer since he was 13 years old. Weirdo. He's told his parents. They got his journal, so they know that Wendy betrayed him in some form or fashion. We still got to find out what it was that Wendy did that his mama told him. I'm wondering, did she smash the homie? Did she smash his daddy? Was she stealing from him? I don't know. Was she using him? I don't know. But we got to find out what Wendy did that betrayed his trust. Who is the person that actually unalived her? Even though he was with Monica that night, how long was he with Monica that night? Because we now know that he turned her down. What is going to happen with this Alex dude that he used to, that he called up on last week's episode that told him he was not going to use him as an alibi and tell the people that he was with him that night? What happened? So I'm assuming at this point, Monica came over to the crib. He was distraught over Wendy lying to him. Monica tried to smash. He told her no. She left. The Alex dude came over. They got high with each other, and we don't know what happened after that, right? Also, we need to find out what Ozzie meant by when he said to his sister, just because you got bored with him like you always do. Who is him? Who is him? Is him the doctor? Is the sister fucking the doctor? Because there was some weird energy there. It was weird, okay? We got to see what Eddie's intentions are. Is Eddie and Mama Louie smashing? It's a mess going on. It's a mess going on, honey. But this season of Reasonable Doubt is really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to give this week's episode an A. Y'all let me know y'all theories, what y'all think is going to happen, what y'all think of this week's episode. Let's talk about it down below in the comment section. Please make sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so you know my videos drop. I love you, T-Squad, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.